Hey, what's up, guys? Today I thought I want to talk about Ford Flexplates. The differences between here is the actual weight of them, the offsets. Yeah, Ford is definitely kind of tricky sometimes when it came to Flexplates, but really I'm doing an AOD 351 conversion right now, and yeah, just trying to find the right Flexplate here, but. Take a look at this. So I have two different flex plates here. I have a Pioneer FRA 202 and Pioneer FRA 205. Every single 351 Windsor that ever came out only ever had a 28 ounce counterweight. They never made a 50-ounce counterweight for a 351 Windsor, so you can never put any 50-ounce flex plate on a 351. So what I have here is two flex plates, and they're both for a 350. They both are designed for a 351. They're both 28 ounces. They both have 11.4 torque converter, bolt circle. I guess the offsetter, whatever they call that, but. I just wanted to show you the differences between the two. This is how you can always tell pretty quickly. You can see the different depth. So the torque converter on where the flex plate on the left is for a E4OD and a C6. And the one on the right is for an AOD/C4. And you can tell the difference. I mean, the teeth themselves are almost lined up. There's probably about an eighth of an inch difference. But the difference is the depth of how the torque converter sits. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but let me scoot that a little bit right back this way. This one is actually concave right here. So as you can see, comparing the two, the torque converter would sit probably about a quarter of an inch closer to the engine, whereas this one would actually put the torque converter about a quarter inch closer to the transmission. So the problem is if you use a C6 E4OD at flex plate, an AOD or a C4, it pushes the torque converter too far into the transmission, which then can fuck up the pump. It can go back there and screw up the actual the transmission pump, and then also mess up the torque converter too because it's just too tight. Sometimes you'll notice is when you turn the engine around, it's really stiff or something while you're trying to torque down the bolts. But Ford, their early 302s were all 28 ounce. 289, 260. Early 302s were 28 ounce, and then in the early 80s they converted over to 50 ounce. So if you're doing like an AOD conversion, you can't use a 302 flex plate. If you took the AOD out of a 302 from the 80s, because they didn't come out with the AOD until the 80s. So if you're doing the AOD conversion, you need to get a flex plate from early or mid 80s Crown Victoria, because that was the only car that actually had an AOD and a 351. Whereas most 351s in the 80s had either an E4 AOD or a C6, which is this flex plate. So if you're doing an AOD conversion, a 351, you need this concave flex plate, which is the FRA 205. So I know this can be seriously a confusing thing. I've read so many freaking forums and posts, and I mean I've installed probably about at least 10 Ford engines with different flex plates, and my first car was a 1966 Bronco, and it had a 157 tooth flex plate. So yeah, by the way, they actually did come out with a 157. The early 60s flex plates were 157 tooth. The small case C4s actually were 157 tooth, and you can tell that a small case C4, basically the dipstick goes into the case. 164 tooth C4, the dipstick goes into the actual pan. So hopefully this helps somebody out. Like I said, if you have the wrong flex plate, you're going to destroy your transmission. So let me know if you have any questions. Cool.